Everybody knows that it's a great time to sell your house in the spring and in the summer. But I get asked all the time, Dave, what about the winter? Is it okay to sell your house in the winter? Not only is it okay to sell your house in the winter, sometimes selling your house in the winter is the exact right thing to do. And today I'm going to tell you what the best reasons are to list your house in the wintertime. So as a realtor, I get asked the question all the time, Dave, should I wait until the spring or should I wait until the summer to list my house? Because I know how terrible it is to list the house in the wintertime. And I'm here to tell you today, look, let's be honest. Listing the house in the spring and the summer, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of buyers in the spring market. There's a lot of buyers in the summer market. I'm not here trying to convince you that that's a bad time to sell your house. That would be idiotic. Obviously, it's a good time to sell your house in the spring and in the summer. But what I am here to tell you is that thinking that you shouldn't list your house in the winter or thinking that you can't list your house in the winter is just wrong. It's wrong. Listing your house in the winter does have some real advantages, and it depends what you're looking for, and it depends on what's important to you. But I wanted to talk today about what those reasons are, some of those best reasons to sell your house in the winter. First and foremost is one advantage of listing in the winter is there's less competition. There's less houses on the market in December than there is in July. Maybe not all the time, but pretty universally that's true, barring some weird market anomaly. But when you list your house in the winter, there's less competition out there, which means your house is going to get more attention. So if you're looking for a quick sale, if you're looking for selling your house without having to do 100 showings before a buyer comes along, listing your house in the wintertime makes a lot of sense. If you have a beautiful house that's priced appropriately and you put it on the market in the wintertime, I can guarantee you're going to have buyers showing up to your house because there's just not as many houses to look at. And that brings me to another point on why I think it's a great time to list your house in the winter, or an advantage to listing your house in the winter. Buyers are more motivated. The buyers that you have in the winter market tend to be a little bit more serious, especially if you're living in a cold weather climate. All right. This morning, when I woke up and I went out to start my car, it was 7 degrees. 7. All right. That means the temperature could have gone up 25 degrees and it would still be freezing. All right. So here's the thing. If there's buyers out there and they're willing to go look at houses when it's 7 degrees, they're not doing it because they're bored. They're not doing it because they're kicking tires. They're not doing it because it's nice to go look at a house on a Sunday. No one's looking at a house when it's 7 degrees unless they're a very serious, very motivated buyer. And when I have conversations with sellers all the time, they say, hey, Dave, I don't want people just coming to the house if they're just looking. I don't want people coming to the house just to see my stuff. I want motivated buyers. I want people who are serious. If that's true, list your house in the wintertime. Those buyers are serious buyers. Something else to think about too. I think in a weird way, it's like houses feel more cozy or inviting in the wintertime. Like there's something to be said about getting out of a cold car, going into a house and it's warm, and maybe you just baked cookies and there's this great smell in the house, and it might be decorated for the holidays or whatever it might be. And people walk in and they're like, oh my gosh, this is beautiful. This is the way I picture my house looking, when it's cold outside, whatever it might be. So I think in a weird way, people have like a nesting instinct to some degree. And when they see a warm house on a cold day, I don't even know how to explain it. I don't know what it is, but it just feels more like home. And I think you could take advantage of that when you list your house in the wintertime. Another thing I say all the time is that time kills deals. The number one killer of a real estate transaction is the passage of time. And the reason I say that is because in the wintertime, I can almost guarantee you're going to get faster service from your vendors. Home inspectors are not as busy in the winter as they are in the summer. Appraisers are not as busy in the winter as they are in the summer, which means a house in the summertime that you might be waiting for an inspection or you might be waiting for an appraisal that might take you 6 or 7 weeks to close. In the winter, if everything goes smoothly, you might be closing that same exact transaction in 4 or 5 weeks because you get through the inspection faster, you get through the appraisal faster, and next thing you know, you're sitting at the closing table. So that's another great reason to list your house in the wintertime. Sometimes there's some year-end financial tax advantages. Some people want to buy right before the year is over, or they want to buy right after the new year begins for whatever they may have in their tax portfolio, or how they're trying to figure out a way to make their accountant happy. It might be a great time to buy a house right before the year ends or right after the year starts. You could take advantage of that in the wintertime. Another thing to consider, a lot of times you see corporate transfers. They happen in Q1. A lot of times if someone's relocating to your area for a job, they're getting relocated at the start of the year. Those relocation buyers are great because if someone's moving halfway across the country to your town for a job, they need a house. Again, it goes back to that theory of having motivated buyers who want to find a house and close on it and get moved in. Especially if they're, if they have family that they're waiting to move with them, no one wants their significant other or their children, spending too much time at an extended stay hotel. It's not what people are looking for. So you get an opportunity to take advantage of some of those corporate relocation people as well. So as you can see, there's a lot of reasons to list your house in the wintertime. And again, I'm not trying to say that it's the optimal time. I'm not trying to say it's the best time, but I'm telling you, it's definitely not a bad time. And at the end of the day, what it always comes back to, the best time to list your home is when you're ready to move on and sell it. Keep that in mind, and I think you'll have a great outcome. Thanks for joining us for today's episode, everybody. If you want to hear more content, follow us at Real Estate Right Now Pod on YouTube. Once you're there, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. And if you want to follow me directly, check me out. It's Dave Wychak at Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, all the socials that you're already using.